This is Colonel St. James. For inductee Tom Franklin, KUHF-FM was where it all began. I ought to know because I was there. At the time, KUHF was a student-run station, and it's where the dream began to take shape. Tom was lucky enough to catch the ear of KQUE-FM program director and Hall of Famer Paul Berlin, who gave him his first paying gig in 1977 as a weekend jock and later full-time, working midnight to 6 a.m. with some sports on the side. In 1981, programmer and inductee Ed Shane brought him to the sports voice of the Southwest, 50,000-watt KTRH, working sports full-time as a reporter and anchor, then talk show host, and eventually sports director during an impressive 20-year run. During that time, Tom's talents were heard beyond AM 740 sports booth as he called color and play-by-play for the Rice Owls. Tom also served as the pre- and post-game host for all three major sports franchises in Houston, the Oilers, the Astros, and the Rockets. Tom's first taste of network exposure came with the Oilers in 1990 when they came home to KTRH and sister station KLOL. Among his broadcast partners was the legendary coach turned analyst Bum Phillips. Along the way, Tom picked up several awards, including the prestigious Katie in 1995. In 2003, he became the play-by-play voice for his alma mater, University of Houston Cougars football and basketball, a gig that would last 9 years. Then, in 2013 and 14, he called NFL and college basketball games nationally for Westwood One Sports. Today, he's with his family and friends for the crowning achievement to a life well spent and a job well done. Tom Franklin is now a 2015 inductee of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. I will start with a brief word from my favorite philosopher in the world, one Mr. Lawrence Peter Barra, who once said, "I want to thank all of those who made this day necessary." But truly, it's been about 4 months since I was notified that I would be inducted into this great institution, and to this very moment, I am still overwhelmed, humbled, and gratified to be standing before you as a member of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. The fact that my peers have judged my work worthy of standing side by side with some of the greatest entities that have ever graced the airwaves in this great state is beyond comprehension. There are too many people to thank in the time that I have. I will just thank the most important person for getting me here, and that is my amazing wife, Suzanne. How I got here is a tribute to her wisdom. We were a young married couple in 1977. I was the assistant manager of Al's Formal Ware's main store in downtown Houston when Paul Berlin gave me my first weekend job working midnight from 7 until midnight on Saturdays and Sundays. That was in March of 77. In August of 77, I got paged to the office during work days on a Thursday afternoon. I'm thinking, what in the world have I done now? And the president of the company said, "We want to make you the manager of our Northline Mall store," which at the time was the third biggest revenue producer of the 9 stores in Houston at that time. In addition to getting a bump in pay, managers of the store got a bonus check at the end of the year of 1% of all the gross revenue your store did. Pretty good for a young couple. 72 hours later, on Sunday afternoon, I get a phone call from Paul Berlin, who says, "Kid, my overnight guy just quit. Do you want the job?" What am I supposed to do now? I said, "Paul," without going into detail, I said, "Paul, can I think about it?" He says, "You have an hour." So my wife and I sat down and we hashed out the pros and cons of either position. And she left the conversation with, "You will never forgive yourself if you don't take the radio job." I went in with my resignation letter on Monday, worked overnights that Monday night at KQUE, and the rest is the history you saw before you. And it's all thanks to my amazing wife. And coincidentally, today is her birthday. Would you please give her a round of applause? From the bottom of my heart, I stand before you today as a proud member of the Texas Radio Hall of Fame. Thank you.